So let's start. You guys, welcome. We're going to be talking today about buyers, okay? And I have a series of notes that I want to share with you in regards to the buyer consultation, okay? Buyers' objections, what to tell buyers, what not to tell buyers, etc., etc., etc. Make sense?
Yes.
So I'd encourage you to ask a lot of questions. Make sure you're taking notes. And I'm going to go back and forth. It's real informal. So I'm going to go back and forth from my notes to the board to maybe, we'll do a little role play and then we'll come back. Because I want to make sure you guys get this, because most of you, which is why I called you, are in fact working with buyers in this market. Okay, so let's just go through points and let's just call them one by one. Okay, so point number one, if you want to start taking notes this way. Realize that the buyer in our market here today in Rowland Heights is the fastest way for you to make a commission. Okay? The fastest way for you to get paid is with a buyer, Catherine.
Thank you.
Right? and I'm not, remember, I'm not belittling the other side. This is not the listings class, but most of what we talk about has to do with listings, because the person that controls the listings controls the market. But at the same time, some of our listings, hey, come on in now, Abel. Some of our listings, we know, we have the short sales, we're competing with the REOs. So we're talking about buyers, and I want you to understand, if you have a good buyer, you can get paid quickly. That's point number one. Point number two is that buyers and buyer leads are a good source for more referrals for you. Buyers are a good source for referrals. In other words, if I'm working with Walter already and I'm showing him houses, right, he's likely to refer me to one of his friends at work. And I could get another buyer out of that and another commission. Okay? Point number three. Your buyers are your future listings. Your buyers are your future listings. Abel, we just started and we're just going over point by point. We're at 3. I'll give you the first 2 in a minute. Okay, so let's just say that I sell a house. Okay, this month I sell one to Jordan. Next month I sell one to Walter, and next month I sell one to Joanne. Those are 3 for me. What are those called? Past clients, right? So now the 3 of them are on my past client list. And that past client list, I will check on you periodically to see how you're doing and pitch you my new listings. So we know that buyers mostly stay in their homes an average of 6 years. A buyer stays in their home 6 years. Who's been in their house more than 6 years? Real quick, show of hands. Who's been in their house right now more than 6 years? I'm the only one? I've been in my house 7 years. Okay, so I'm the only one out of all of you? Okay, so you see? So chances are, right, if it, like what we're seeing in this room, we turn over the houses. The average is 6 years. Okay, point number 4, whatever it is. And we're going to kind of go here and there as we're talking, okay? There's no perfect house. That's point number 4. There's no perfect house. Okay? I've been working with some of you over the last couple of weeks, and some of the objections that you're telling me that your buyers are giving you are objections that, really, they're objections that could be overcome. Okay? Yes, I know that this is a large ticket item, and yes, I know that it's an emotional decision, but at the same time, every house is going to have something. I've shared this with you guys in previous meetings. If you go to my house, it has a lot of repairs. It's an older house. My windows are single pane windows, and everyone has double pane windows. Okay? Does that mean I don't like my house? No, I love my house. Right? And if I were to rebuy it now, I'd probably go and rebuy it again too. So just because a house has something wrong with it doesn't mean, 1, that it's going to get fixed. Okay? Or 2, that they should do a price reduction for it. Or 3, that your buyer should not buy it. Or, you get it? Those are things that you have to overcome. So through the series of questions that you ask your buyer in the buyer's consultation, which we'll talk about momentarily, then you'll know more about your buyer, what you can get away with and what you can't. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah? Okay. Point number 5. Okay. Remember that buyers need your help with decisions. Come on in, Chiffon. Remember that buyers need your help with decisions. Okay? I'm going to give you an example. If you had a situation, a legal situation, where you needed some help, okay? And I am an attorney, what are you looking for from me? What are you looking for from me?
Advice.
Your advice, right? And I'm going to tell you what to expect, what the good is, what the bad is, and I'm going to tell you what to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I'm your attorney. That's why you're paying me. If I didn't do that, would you want to stay with me? No. Right? Because why are you hiring me? It's the same thing with us as agents. The agents want you to help them buy a house. They want you to help them buy a house. They need answers from you. They need help with their decisions. They need help with their decisions. So you're pushing them along. And I don't mean pushing as in being pushy. I mean you're helping them along with their decisions. That only makes sense. Okay? Here's a couple questions in regards to that, or a couple more thoughts. So if we're on number 5, this would be like A, B, and C. Number 1, the first 5 minutes on the phone with your client are very important. That first 5 minutes are very important. You're building rapport. Rapport is spelled R-A-P-P-O-R-T. You're building rapport. And you're gaining the client's trust during that first conversation. Remember, so when we go shopping for a pair of shoes, right? So I'm going in. Okay, let's picture this. I'm going in. We're at Nordstrom. I'm walking in to walk a pair of shoes. And someone is coming to me. And what are they going to ask me? The salesperson. What are they going to ask me? Do you need help? And what am I going to say?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
But I need to buy shoes. Why did I say no thank you? Right? Is that true? Abel, is that true? Right? And because we're conditioned to say, no thank you. I'll look for the shoes on my own. And then when I'm ready, I'll say, do you have this one in size 11?
Yeah.
Right? When I'm ready. So you have to understand that the client, especially in the beginning, during that first 5 minutes in the shoe area, in the beginning, the client is not really ready to give you everything. You have to be very, very patient. And you have to be, through a series of questions, gaining their trust. That's what called building rapport is. So I would ask questions like this. How long have you been looking? Wendy, how long have you been looking?
2 years.
2 years. Wow. That's a long time. Always in Chino Hills? See, I'll just ask another question. I would also ask, Wendy, what's making you want to buy? It's been 2 years. Wow. Why? What's making you want to move?
The house price will go down.
The house prices are going down?
Yeah.
Now that's making you want to jump in?
Yeah.
Okay. You see, I'm just going to ask questions. Why am I going to ask? And I'm going to make notes, but I'm asking questions to gain her trust so that she wants to tell me more. Because remember, otherwise the client, when you're talking to them, they're just going to say, well, just email me.
Yeah.
Right? Or just tell me what's available in Chino Hills under 300,000. What does that mean? That's like 2,000 homes. You can't, that's not legitimate. You're the one asking them questions. That's the art of selling, not them to you. When they ask you, you take and you're going to make notes. Oh, okay. I would ask them this. If they tell you, I want to buy whatever, I would ask, what's important to you about that? What's important to be in Chino Hills? Why Chino Hills? Now, when you say Chino Hills, Wendy, would you consider Rowland Heights, or does it have to be Chino Hills? See, now should consider Rowland Heights. Now, what about Diamond Bar? Oh, no, not Diamond Bar. I don't want to be, or not Pomona, right? Okay. Still, A, B, C, and D under the same number. Initially, you're getting, this is called the consultation. This is called the buyer's consultation. And initially what you're looking for is to have a consultation with a buyer. Okay? And during this consultation, you're going to have a set script, a set of ideas that you're going to go through. And I'm going to give you, when we leave, a copy of one. Okay? Now, I know and I recommend that you go through a consultation with every single buyer every single time. At the same time, I know that depending on your skill set, your skills, sometimes that's harder to do than other times. So I would recommend from the very beginning, you're already filling out the sheet. So maybe I'll ask you some of these questions our first conversation, and 2 hours from now when I follow up with you on what you asked me, I ask you a couple more questions, and then when I meet you on Saturday in the house, I'll ask you the rest of the questions. So I'll go through the buyer's consultation questions. I'll go through the script. And I say that because I know that's the strategy that some of our other agents that are having success are doing. Okay, including Heidi, including Jenny. Jenny has her people just go through a script. Question, 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 question. Before they talk to Jenny. It's an assistant.
Oh.
Before they talk, I'm calling about the house on Diamond Bar. Oh, okay, great. Let me ask you a couple of questions. Have you been pre-qualified? Are you buying house in cash? How much down payment are you giving? Do you have the money here? Some of her clients are foreign. And before they talk to Jenny, they're filling out the form. You get it? Mm-hmm.
But you say we should gain the buyer's trust.
Mm-hmm.
But before they have a trust, they won't tell me that kind of detailed financial situation.
Mm-hmm. Because in this case, they're calling in on a lead. That's like an example because Jenny has listings and they're calling in on her listings.
Oh.
Okay? Whereas that is a little bit of a different because they're calling in inquiring about something. Whereas the earlier example may not necessarily be that way. So if they're calling in inquiring, then you could negotiate that conversation a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay? Okay. Next, number 6. Remember that you are not a taxi. Remember that you are not a taxi. Okay? So if I ask you to show me homes on Saturday, are you going to show me homes on Saturday?
Why not?
If I have enough time to prepare.
You have enough time to prepare, but what if I don't have the money to buy?
You need to prepare first, right?
Yes. Yes, you see, that's where I'm going with it. You need to know a little bit more about me before you agree to meet me. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, absolutely. Saturday, we could look at properties. Does 10 o'clock work, or are you thinking 11:30? 11:30, great. There's just a couple questions I need to ask you before we meet because I want to make sure I show you the right homes. And then the questions start. And then if you don't get from me the answers that you're looking for, are you still going to meet me on Saturday? No, you're not going to waste the time. I don't have a loan. I don't have a job. I don't have money. I have bad credit. Okay? You're not just, remember, you have to be selective with who you show homes to. You follow me?
Yeah.
Point number 6? 7. Preview properties daily. And I put in brackets 5. Howard. Preview properties daily. Daily. For some of you that are still looking actively for business, this should be a daily activity. In addition to the role-playing, the prospecting, the practicing, the MLS, and everything else you're doing, I would be previewing property. Okay? Why do you think I suggest that you preview property?
So we know the market.
Okay? Okay, you know the market. What else? What else? What else do you get if you preview property?
So we know before the client, we're ready for the question.
So if I have you on the phone and you're describing to me a 3-bedroom home in Hacienda Heights, overlooking the other side of La Habra and Whittier, with a yard and on a cul-de-sac, if you've been previewing homes in that area, you can quickly tell, oh, you know what, Jason, I think I have the home for you. I'd have to check if it's still available, but I want to say upwards on Windstar Street, there's a home for $357. See, I'm creating some excitement that if I didn't have that knowledge, I could not say. Right? It's the same thing when you go to the shoe store and the person at Nordstrom's looks at your foot and they say, Walter, there's not one here, but I think in the back I have a shoe that I think you're going to like. Wait, I'll be right back. Right? That person is a good sale. They know they're trying to service what the client wants. So it's the same thing with you. You gain perspective of the marketplace. You gain what's going on in the market, what good deals are, what bad deals are. Okay, which gives you an excuse to call people when you're prospecting in the prospecting class. You gain knowledge of who's doing for sale by owners. You gain knowledge of which agents in the market have listings. And those should be your friends. The listing agents should be your friends, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, questions to this point? Okay, let's keep going because we have a lot of material we want to cover. Next. I think it's number 8. Okay, when you get a lead, someone that's referred to you, make sure you get both their email and their phone number. Their email and their phone number. Okay? You want to put them on some type of drip system, whether you're using our system internally on eEdge, whether you're using Listing Book, whether you're using the MLS. The MLS has a drip system. We could show you how to use that too. And every time a home comes up in your buyer's criteria, it emails them. That way you don't have to be checking every day. Okay? You got to use that carefully, but you want email and phone number is a minimum. Okay? And I would ask, if it were me, I would ask for their cell number, and I would also ask, is this the best number to reach you? And I might also ask them, is it okay that I text you, Abel? Is that okay? If I get a good deal, can I text you? Okay, because, right, we all use text, right?
Yeah.
And that's a very easy way to get a hold of someone. If they're at work, you don't have to interrupt them, but you can, hey, I got a hot property I want you to look at today at 5:30. Can you drive by? Okay, so I would ask them for those things when you're talking to them and you're lead generating. You may want to let them know, and this is just a little trick, okay? Because remember, sometimes buyers, especially these internet buyers, okay, they think that they don't need you, right or wrong, right? They think they can find anything on their own, okay? They don't know that some of those websites purchase the material from the MLS and it's 24 to 48 hours old. They don't know that some of the short sales that say are available, are they really available? No, they don't know that, okay? They don't know that listing agents leave things available in the MLS on purpose just to gain more leads to steal them themselves. You didn't know that either.
I don't know.
Right? So the buyers don't know those things, okay?
What about those Zillow.com?
Zillow? Yeah, so Zillow's just a
Still the
service.
same service, but
It's another database.
a lot of buyers get information.
A lot of
from
buyers get information from there. They get information of supposedly what the home is worth. Okay, but remember, those items are not always accurate. And that's not the best way to get information on a property or on the market. You're the best way to get information on the property. You're the professional. I mean, can you go to court and defend yourself based on what you find on law.com? Think about that. No, but the people don't know. See, I'm not poking fun at the people. I'm just saying that you're the one that needs to explain that to them. If you don't, then they might think, well, Jeff, I don't need to talk to Jack. Jack's just another agent. He's trying to bug me for my business. Like the Nordstrom shoes person. No, don't. I'll talk to you when I want to. I want to look at the shoes by myself. Right? So you have to give them a reason. I think of it like a carrot. Like, hello, I give you this. Okay? So I'll say something like, you know, my company, Keller Williams, has a lot of coming inventory. And sometimes if I know what you're looking for, Howard, I can find it before it comes up for sale. We call that pocket inventory. That's why I'm asking you these questions. I want to make sure I know what you want. I'll help you look. See? Pocket inventory. What do you mean pocket inventory? Right? And even if you don't have pocket inventory, that doesn't matter. Someone has it. Someone in the MLS does. You're giving the person a hook, a reason why they're going to need you. You're bringing value to you. So that they're going to, oh, I need to use this guy, Jordan, right? I need to use him. He says he might have another house. Okay? So you want to make sure that you give them the explanation of what really goes on in the internet sites, that you possibly could have something in the back that may be able to help them. You do that through asking more questions. Asking more questions. A couple of examples of questions, and this is just in the same point, so you could just write examples. You could write, if they tell you, I want to live in Rowland Heights, you could ask questions like this. Why is that? This is in no particular order. Okay? Do you need a big yard, or will a small yard be okay? Are you looking at homes only, or will a condo work? Okay? Now, let's just do that real quick. Catherine, you're looking at Chino Hills. I'm not going to look at you because we're on the phone, right? So we don't need to have... You're looking at Chino Hills. Are you looking for a house only, or will a condo work for you?
Oh, I'm looking for a house.
You're looking for a house?
Yes.
Okay, and do you need a big yard, or is a small yard okay?
Not really big.
Not really big?
Yeah, about, I would say 8,000.
Okay, so you don't have any dogs or anything like that?
No.
Right, okay. Now, in, Chino Hills, there's a lot of homes. Do you need are you looking up there, those view properties? Are you looking to be down by the Spectrum? Whereabouts in town do you want to be?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Anywhere in Chino Hills?
With a good school district.
Good school district.
Yes.
Okay, so
Good
when you
price.
say that, will you go to Diamond Bar that has a good school district too, or do you want to stay in Chino Hills?
I want to stay in Chino Hills.
Okay, you want to stay in Chino Hills. Now tell me, what's important to you about Chino Hills?
Because I think the price is cheaper than Diamond Bar.
Well, that's true. It is in San Bernardino County. Now, do you live in Chino Hills now?
No.
Oh, okay. Where do you live?
Pomona.
Pomona. Okay. And how long have you been living in Pomona?
About 5 years.
You've been there in 5 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you're gonna go over to Chino Hills. Okay.
Yes.
Let me ask you, Catherine. How long have you been looking?
Actually a couple of months.
You've been looking a couple of months.
Yes.
And nothing yet, huh?
Nothing.
Have you made any offers on homes?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. So you've just been looking.
Yes.
Mostly on the internet, or open houses?
Yeah, from the internet and then from the open house.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now, how quickly do you want to make this move to Chino Hills?
I would say before the year end.
Before the year end, okay.
Yes.
And I'm curious, what's making you want to move?
Before the holiday,
Before the holidays.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you need to be in here rather quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm making notes here of our conversation. Okay. You get it? Right? Did that seem somewhat natural? Right? I probably asked right there in that series 7 or 8 or 9 questions. I'm just asking questions. And every time she tells me something, it leads me to another question. Now, who's in control of that conversation?
Agent.
Right? So through that series, I'm getting more out of her. She's telling me more about herself. I'm confirming, repeating what she tells me, making sure she knows that I'm listening, right? I'm taking notes for myself, which, right, is part of the consultation sheet. And then that gives me more ammunition to then come back and give her the pair of shoes, if this were shoes, that she's looking for, right? Sometimes that conversation doesn't go like that. The buyer's in control of the agent. The buyer starts asking all these other questions, and you're just saying, yes, no, maybe, I don't know. That's not a proper sales dialogue. Okay? Make sense?
Yeah.
That's something we need to practice, obviously, in scripts and dialogues. Okay, next, number 9. And we touched on this already a little bit. Bring value to the conversation. Bring value to the conversation.
What kind of value you mean?
Yeah, so value doesn't mean the awards that you've received or how long you've been in the business or anything like that. Value means literally what it is that you're willing to do for the person. You know, I can appreciate what you say about the school district in Chino Hills, Catherine. I have a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old, and we live there for that very reason. And we'd love to live in Diamond Bar. It's a little too expensive for us, but Chino Hills, great school district, so I hear you. See, I'm letting you know that I understand and value what you're telling me because it's important to me also. Okay, so you want to be able to bring some type of value to it. You know, I know that area in Diamond Bar that you're describing. I was just driving by it yesterday visiting another client. So you're letting the person know. You're bringing value to the conversation. I'll give you more examples of that as we go. What number are we on? Okay, number 10. Before you meet the client, confirm the appointment. Confirm the appointment. Okay, so that means if today is Wednesday, and Rose, we set an appointment for Saturday at 10, Friday at 4, before I leave the office, I'm going to confirm with you that we're still meeting. Okay, and while I'm at it, I'll probably sneak in a couple more questions. Rose, I just wanted to make sure we're meeting tomorrow at 10 o'clock, right? And we're going to meet, I recommend you meet at the office, but some of you I know don't meet at the office. If you meet at the house, okay, we're meeting at wherever you're meeting, okay? And I just wanted to make sure, and you ask a couple more questions, whatever else you need from the client. Maybe you were already doing some research and you have, I found one up on Charter Oak. Is Charter Oak okay with you? Is that something that because they have an HOA over there. And you said you didn't want a condo, but are you okay with an HOA at $65 a month? Oh, you don't want Charter Oak? Okay, let me scratch that from the list. I have 6 homes that I'm going to show you. You get it? I'm going to ask a couple more questions, and I'm going to make sure she still remembers, and she's not going to stand me up tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Because if she's not, I'm not going to go spend my time on that, because that would be a waste of my time. Right? Next, look for unrealistic expectations from buyers. Or I don't even know look for. We don't want that. Be weary of. Beware. Okay? Of a buyer that has unrealistic expectations. Okay? So, Wendy, if you tell me you want to buy a house you tell me if this is true, okay? You want to buy a house in Rowland Heights. You want it to have 4 bedrooms. You want it to be in move-in condition. You want it to have 2,500 square feet. And you want it to be under $300,000. Are you realistic? Does that exist?
They will
Right?
They say a lot. They sell their property a lot. They will tell you that.
Yeah, but really, we know what they really sell for. Does
Maybe
that
other
exist?
half size.
That doesn't exist, right? That animal that I just described doesn't exist. It doesn't matter what the client wants in that case. You're not going to be... Listen, I'd love to sell my house for $1 million. Doesn't mean I'm going to get it. No one's going to buy it for $1 million. So how you get through that is you ask more questions. Okay? So, wow, Wendy, okay, for $300,000, that might be tough in Rowland Heights. Let me ask you, would you consider West Covina? How about a condo? Would you consider a condo? Now, if I found you something that wasn't quite 2,500 square feet, and wasn't a 4-bedroom, it was 3 bedrooms with a den, would you take that? See, I want to probe more because otherwise that's not going to go anywhere. And you think you have a lead and you really don't have a lead. You have someone that's going to take up your time. Okay? So be wary of clients, and I know they exist. I know they exist here in our culture. Okay? I know they exist in this market because people think there's REOs and short sales and they're getting homes for, for bargain basement prices. And we know there's people that are doing that at different environments, but it's not quite like that. Okay? The following. On every offer, you must include the following. Number 1, or A, the RPA, the contract. Some of us have already talked about this in our contracts class. Okay? A, RPA. Right? The 8-page contract. You don't need to put the other 2 pages on top of that. Just the 8 pages. The 8-page contract. Number 2, your pre-approval letter. Pre-approval letter. And I tell you, I strongly encourage you to get that pre-approval letter from a legitimate bank. Not 1-2-3 mortgage. Okay? Because if you're competing with another offer and you have one from 1-2-3 mortgage and then you have another one from Bank of America and it happens to be a Bank of America REO, they're going to pick, okay, the big banks, we know who they are, right? Wells, B of A, maybe Citi. That doesn't mean you have to use them. It just means your pre-qual letter says that that bank has approved them. It carries more weight. Okay, which is why we have the relationship with Choi and Riyadh, why they're here, and why you should use them. I encourage you to use them. If you can't close it with them, that's one thing, but at least present your best foot forward. Okay? Number C, your earnest money deposit. And your earnest money deposit should be a good amount. Anything over $250,000, I would say a $5,000 check. Me, if it were me. Okay? This doesn't mean, this is strategy. This is not law. You don't have to do this. You could do it with $500. Okay? But if you're the listing agent and I give you a $500 check and he gives you a $5,000 check, which one are you going to like better? Right? It just looks better. And even though it's not really better, it just looks better. Okay? If you could do more, do more. If it's all cash, $10,000. I've seen earnest money deposits for $20,000. You're paying all cash for it. Show that you're serious. That is all part of your presentation to the listing agent. Remember that the listing agent is the person deciding, oftentimes, whether you're going to get it or not. Certainly if it's a short sale. If it's a short sale, the clients, they don't care. The listing agent's the one that's going to say, okay, let's see if this offer is good enough or not. Oh, he's paying all cash. And, oh, he has a $500 deposit, huh? Right? So that's all part of presentation. Next, D. Your bank statement. Your bank statement. Okay? You don't have to show all 6 or 7 pages. Just show the first page that shows how much money they have.
Quick question.
Yes.
This one we have to, email them so many, or just after we get approved, they accepted.
No, I would give it to them up front.
Up front?
Yes, because this is part of your presentation. I want you to show that your offer is good. You have everything ready. And I'm not telling you to do that many things. That's all of them. That's 4 and possibly a credit report. But we'll talk. Give me a minute. Okay? So, hey, come on in, Rachel. It's okay. Okay, so the purchase contract, the pre-qual letter, the earnest money deposit, and the bank statement.
2 months?
1 month. Just to show that you have the money. Okay? Now, if you have a client, let's pause for a minute. If it's a $300,000 sales price, and they're giving 20% down, so it's $60,000, hopefully your bank statement shows $60,000. Okay? If you have a bank statement that shows $3,000, and I'm the listing agent, I'm going to call you, and I'm going to say, where is their down payment? I'm going to call you because I'm nice. Some listing agents might just say, this is nothing, and throw it in the trash. right? So again, you don't want that to happen to your offer. That's why I tell you, give them upfront to show them that you're good. Okay? If you don't have all of the money, explain it to them. Tell them, let them know, listen, I'm sending you this offer. It's a $60,000 down payment. $35,000 is in the bank. The other $25,000 will be wired in 2 weeks from China. They have their other bank account in mainland China. Okay, I just wanted to make sure you knew. That's part of presenting. Okay? I've seen bank statements that are not American. They're from overseas. That's fine. I mean, as long as I could read it, right? As long as you can see what the numbers are. Okay, if you can't see what the numbers are, explain it to the agent. The money will be wired. We need 21 days. Okay? You're presenting. You're showing them your salesmanship. Okay, one more thing I want to add to this that is very common here, and a lot of agents are using it. If your client is getting a loan, okay, so they're not paying cash, they're getting a loan. Okay, so Jack is buying the house, $300,000 FHA, and he's only giving $9,000 down. Okay? That offer may not be as desirable in the eyes of some listing agents compared to a conventional or a high down payment offer. Do you get that?
Yeah.
Because they fear that because Jack is not giving a big down payment, somehow Jack is not good enough. I'm not saying that's right. I'm not saying that's fair. I'm just saying that's real. Okay? So in order for me to make Jack look better, I might take the first page of Jack's credit report with his 725 FICO and send that to. So that would be item number E. Okay? You're going to black out the Social Security number. You're going to protect your client. Okay? And I'm going to tell them, I'm sending this to you to show the ability of my client, Jack, to close the loan in 30 days like I'm telling you he's going to do. I'm not saying it's necessarily going to work. I'm saying it just gives you one little bit of extra piece. Okay? Some lenders won't give that to you. Okay? Other lenders like Troy, go for it. Ask them for it. I would do it. Okay? Questions on that? Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, so 5 things we're going to send. 4 definitely. 1 if it has if it's a credit person. Okay, a couple more points. How are we on time? Okay. A couple more points and then we'll wrap up. Couple things to take with you when you're showing properties. This is just an idea I heard from Heidi. Take bottled water with you.
Oh.
Okay? Take a flashlight. Take a tape measure. Sometimes they're wondering, I wonder how big this room is. Do you think the pool table would fit here? What about the size of the television? Our television's 60 inches. I don't know if that thing's big enough. Real quick, I'll get a tape measure. You come over and you measure it. Okay, it's just to provide good customer service. Okay, especially if you're together a couple of hours. The water I thought was a really good idea that Heidi said she does that. Okay, next. Make sure you pick the best route to the house. Know how to get there. Don't only rely on your GPS. Sometimes GPS is wrong.
Yeah.
Sometimes GPS doesn't realize that there's construction and they close the street. Okay? So you're only going to know this if you know the area. If you don't know the area, you're going to... I tell you, I remember showing houses, and when I've showed houses and I get lost, it's embarrassing. Okay, when you go one way, then you have to make a U-turn. Then your client is on the red light. You have to pull over. Cars are honking at you. It's embarrassing. Okay, so that's just kind of like logistics. You learn that through experience, but I'm telling you, and map it before you go. If you're going to show them 5 houses, which one's first, which one's that? Don't go this way, then that way, then back again. You kind of go in a circle. Okay? Make sure that all the decision makers are with you when you're showing. All the decision makers. Okay? So that means if they're married, the husband and the wife. Okay? And that you're only going to know by asking questions. So you might say something like, Rachel, when we meet on Saturday, because this house is for you and your family, right? It's for you and your family? Right, okay. Now, did you tell me, or see you, John. Is it just you, your spouse, and your kids, or did Raul tell me something about a family member also lives with you? Family member. Is that family member going to be coming to the showing or not?
Showing.
Okay. So, in other words, I want to know, this is what I don't want. I don't want them to later tell me, oh, we have to talk about it with my mom and dad. We'll let you know later. And then they show the mom and dad the house at 7 o'clock, and the dad says that the house is a piece of junk, and then you wasted all day. And if the dad is the one that's the real decision maker, that's who I want to meet with, the dad. Right? I want to meet with everyone who's there. You're only going to know that through asking more questions. So let's say the first time they told you that, and no, you found out that the mom and dad didn't approve, then the next time I would ask, now, can we get mom and dad to come with us this next time just to make sure they like what we're seeing? And you're going to ask mom and dad some questions too. What's important about this house for you? Okay? All right, 2 more points and then we'll wrap up. When you're asking questions, make sure that you know their motivation. You know their motivation. Why are they buying? When do they need to move by? And why that's important. And the more I know that motivation, the more I can tug at you when you don't want to make the decision, you want to offer too low, it's taken a couple showings and you haven't offered, etc., etc., etc. Okay, the more I know about that, the more I can use that to close. Okay? And the last thing that will kind of segue us into the next class that we have with this is, while you're out previewing, if you're previewing 5 properties a day, right? 5, 10, 15, that's 25 properties a week. Look out for sale by owners. For sale by owner, take the number. And if you have clients, you call them, hey, Mr. For Sale by Owner, listen, I have clients that want to move into this area. I don't want to list my home. That's okay. That's not why I'm talking to you. I have a client that would really want to move into this home. If I find you a buyer, would you be willing to pay a commission? That's your foot in the door. Okay, because remember, for sale by owner, what doesn't he want to do? He doesn't want to do what? He doesn't want to pay a commission. Okay, but he doesn't know that he needs our help. So I'll almost give him that for a little bit. I'm not saying we're not going to close him. When we meet him, we're going to close him. But up front, when I want to talk to the guy, having a buyer is a perfect reason why to meet with me. Okay? And if you're showing property in the area, then that makes sense. Questions. It's been about 45 minutes or so. Questions, questions, questions. Okay? I have a